Hi everyone, welcome back to N.O.A the Explorer. I'm Dr. Akaranu and I am an adult, child, and adolescent psychiatrist. And in today's video, I will be finishing up my Locum Tenens series where I have been talking about being a Locum Tenens psychiatrist and just giving you some really great beginner's points to begin your Locum Tenens journey. And if that's of interest to you, let's get started. To close out the Locum Tenens series, I really wanted to touch on navigating the Locum Tenens experience, specifically your day-to-day responsibilities and expectations, as well as your challenges and some common issues you might face as a Locum Tenens physician, specifically as a Locum Tenens psychiatrist. I would say the most important thing to do when you get on site, I hope you have an orientation day or an orientation half day. Even if you already know how to use the EMR, which is the electronic medical record, please go ahead and still ask for an orientation day, and you can get a brief overview of the EMR. Even with the same EMR, I have noticed that things are actually different between hospitals depending on what version of the software they get. So in all my training institutions, I used Epic, right? Epic is one of the most common EMRs widely used in different hospitals. However, every hospital I go to, their Epic looks different. So it's always good to get a refresher on the EMR, even if it's one that you are familiar with. And while you're getting your refresher, I've always found that the Epic trainers can give you some tips and pointers on how to navigate any system issues in your day-to-day work. Also, on your orientation day, it is really important as a psychiatrist to meet different members of the team. Now, I don't think everybody is going to clear their schedule to meet you, but it's very helpful that you are able to meet the social worker, the charge nurse, the nursing manager, just people that you'll be involved with in your day-to-day activity. If there are other psychiatrists already there working, you should probably meet them and ask them for their templates, for their note templates on how the hospital likes to have their notes written, their notes done, involuntary commitment procedures, voluntary admission to the inpatient psychiatric unit procedures for the hospital, and if it's a new state, for the state that I'm in. As in, there's a difference between how you do involuntary commitments in North Carolina versus how you would do them in Texas, okay? And then there's a huge difference between Texas and California, California and New York, and so on and so forth. I mean, we have 50 states in this country and they all do things slightly differently. Some of them a lot differently. So the social worker, the other psychiatrists, the charge nurse, the nurses on the unit, these are really all people I would love to meet on the first day. Now, if you cannot meet them on the first day, please schedule a meeting to meet with these people during your first week. I typically like to do that because it just gives you a jump start and you're not scrambling trying to figure things out. You should definitely get paid for orientation day. Okay, it's not free labor. Sometimes your orientation rates will be lower than your full day of working. Some hospitals will do that. Some, companies, hiring companies, locums agencies will do that. Some of them will pay you your full rate, but you should definitely get paid something for the orientation day. Once you get there, ask lots of questions. You want to know the admissions procedures, the discharge procedures, the ER, the consultation liaison service, just really as many people as you can meet to ask questions during your orientation day or during your first week. That would be excellent. So that helps you just kind of get started very quickly, adapt to a new environment quickly. And most people generally want to help you. I mean, you might meet one or two staff members, employees that just don't care for your presence because people feel a certain way about having a Locums Tenens physician being there, but generally most people are grateful for you being there. They're grateful for someone being able to come in and see patients with mental illness, and people generally want you to succeed because they've invested a lot of time recruiting and getting you there. They want to set you up for success. Some of the challenges I've already mentioned, just kind of one challenge is being able to adapt to a different environment very quickly. Also working with people who might feel some type of way because they don't understand Locum Tenens psychiatry. you don't have to get involved in hospital politics, because at the end of the day, you are there temporarily. Yes, by all means, create relationships and be, cordial and polite and professional, but you don't have to get involved in the gossip and the infighting and all the things that people who are generally comfortable in a certain employment will do. I actually like my life how it is right now. I'm improving on my skills, gaining more and more confidence every day in my plans, post-training. So I'm actually just enjoying the process, and I'm in between assignments right now, so I've had an extensive amount of time to just rest. So I hope that helps, and that concludes our Locum Tenens series. And if you've watched every video up until this point, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.